All right, today we are diving deep into one of the most powerful narratives out there. It comes from a chapter of the Quran called Surah Al-Qasas, which, literally translates to the stories. And trust me, it is a gripping tale all about hope, courage, and just trusting in a plan that is way, way bigger than our own. So to really get us started, I want you to keep this question in the back of your mind. In a world that can feel pretty overwhelming sometimes, how on earth does hope actually survive in the darkest of times? This story, well, it offers a really profound answer. Now, to get the full power of this story, you gotta understand the context, like why it was sent down in the first place. It came to the Prophet Muhammad and the very first Muslims during an incredibly tough period in Mecca. They were facing serious persecution from the city's leaders. So the story of Musa, or Moses, was sent as this direct message of reassurance. It created this powerful parallel. It was almost as if God was saying, look, just as I saved Musa from the tyrant Pharaoh, I am going to help you. You will return to your home and you will be victorious. It's such a timeless lesson, right? That help is always near, even when it feels like it's a million miles away. Okay. So our story kicks off in Egypt. It's under the rule of a tyrannical pharaoh who is just brutalizing the children of Israel. He's even ordering the death of all their newborn sons. I mean, it's a truly, truly dark time. But right in the middle of all this darkness, a perfect, incredibly detailed plan was already being set in motion. The precision of this plan is it's remarkable. I mean, just picture it. Musa's mother, filled with faith, places her tiny baby in a basket and sets him afloat in the Nile River. The river then carries him straight to the one place you'd never expect, Pharaoh's palace. And who finds him? The one person who can protect him, Pharaoh's own wife. And then for the final unbelievable twist, they unknowingly hire his actual mother to be his wet nurse. It's just an incredible sequence of events that shows how a divine plan can work in the most mind-blowing ways. So years go by and Musa grows up as a prince in the palace. But then as a young man, he gets into this altercation and it leads to an accidental death. And just like that, everything changes. The prince of Egypt is now a fugitive, he's terrified for his life, and he's forced to flee everything and everyone he's ever known, with absolutely no destination and no plan. This journey kicks off a brand new chapter in his life. Musa arrives in a foreign land called Midian. He's all alone, he's exhausted, and he has literally nothing to his name. This is rock bottom. And this is where we see his true character shine through. He's at a well and he sees two women struggling to water their animals. Now look, he could have just focused on himself, on his own survival. I mean, who would blame him? But he doesn't. Despite his own fear and exhaustion, he steps up and helps them. And that one simple act of kindness, of putting others first, even when he's at his absolute lowest point, it completely changes his destiny. It's what leads him to find a home, a family, and a whole new life. So, fast forward a few years, he's built a new life for himself. But then, everything changes all over again. While he's traveling with his family, he sees a fire up on Mount Termur, and he goes to check it out. This moment is one of the most awe-inspiring in all of Scripture, because this wasn't just any fire. When Musa gets closer, God speaks to him directly from a blessed tree. In that one moment, on that holy mountain, an ordinary man who was running from his past gets commissioned for an absolutely extraordinary future. He becomes a prophet. So what does that actually mean? It means he's been chosen, specifically by God, to deliver a divine message to all of humanity. His life isn't just his own anymore. He now has a sacred and massive duty. And talk about a daunting assignment. This slide breaks it down. He has to go back to the very place he ran from, confront the most powerful man on earth, and tell him to worship God and free an entire nation of slaves. No big deal, right? But to help him, he's given these incredible divine signs, a staff that can literally turn into a snake, and a hand that glows with a brilliant supernatural light. Okay, now the story pivots, and it gives us this really powerful contrast. We're introduced to another guy from that time named Qarun. And if Musa's story is all about humility and trust, Qarun's is a chilling cautionary tale. It's all about wealth and arrogance, a theme that feels, honestly, just as relevant today. This slide really nails the two different mindsets. Qarun was ridiculously wealthy, but he was convinced his fortune came from his own genius, from his own knowledge. He was totally ungrateful and full of pride. The believer, on the other hand, well, they understand that everything they have is a blessing from a higher power, so they practice humility and gratitude. And here it is, his arrogance, in his own words. When people would advise him, be grateful, use your wealth for good, he'd just boast, saying this wealth was all because of his own merit. He completely, 100%, failed to see where his blessings truly came from. And the consequence for that pride? It was swift and it was absolute. As a punishment, the earth literally opened up and just swallowed him and all his vast treasures. It's such a stark reminder that worldly wealth and power are ultimately meaningless when faced with divine will. And all of this brings us to the story's grand conclusion, its ultimate promise. After these incredible stories of fighting hope and despair, of kindness and hardship, of humility versus arrogance, what's the final takeaway? What's the point of it all? This final verse really captures the whole point. It's saying that true, lasting success, the home of the hereafter, the afterlife, it isn't for the arrogant or the corrupt or the powerful people of this world. No, it's for the humble. It's for those who don't try to elevate themselves above others. The best outcome, the real victory, belongs to the righteous. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. When you look at the life of Musa and the fate of Qarun, you have to ask yourself, what is the real difference between true success and the fleeting illusion of it? This story gives us a pretty powerful lens to find that answer.